some things that I think are going to be very important for yourself if you have an issue in the future. And, you know, say the medical facilities are overloaded, you got Obamacare and you have to wait in line for 10 years or something like that, and I don't know, say there's just some crazy emergency, right? I know they got the Ebola scare right now. Maybe it's not a scare. It might be just a bunch of freaking hyped up garbage. Maybe Ebola can't survive in most of the temperate U.S. climate. Maybe it's more survivable in extremely hot climates like Florida, right? I don't know. But there could be something that comes up in the future where there's a problem with biological agents or whatever. Maybe they're from a foreign government. I know the conspiracy crowd always likes to say it's from the U.S. government, but I didn't know it didn't come from the foreign government. Now, I always put out a lot of videos on the Beck protocol and stuff. Now, the only thing I was able to, Bob Beck, Robert C. Beck, the only thing I was able to ascertain with the Beck-style blood electrification device, like this thing here, if you turn it on, like when you plug it in, this light goes out. This is like an original style one from Silver Smoke Research on eBay. I don't know, sometimes they're like $100. Actually, I'm going to tell you, if you ever get one of these puppies, you're probably better off getting them off from eBay than Soda Instruments, because these are a lot cheaper on eBay. There's another guy out there making one that uses like one battery, and it's probably better than Soda's. I think it's like $150. It's by Quantum_Leap_R. I believe that's the name, but it's on eBay. Probably, you know, about half the price of Soda's. But I want to say this, you know, beware of the exaggerations in the alternative medicine world. I actually put out a video on Bob Beck, disinformation agent. Some people might get mad at that or whatever, but I'm being very accurate on this deal and very honest. But this can help you somewhat. It may help. You know, the other thing is, with this type of electronic device, it was called a plant growth stimulator. It seems to provide you with more energy. That I noticed for real. Not a placebo. Pretty much everybody says it provides more energy, which makes them feel better. But at the same time, it could also be accentuating the growth of certain other viruses, and maybe, you know, taking out some microbes. Probably works better with bacterial issues versus viruses. And it only works on the blood. The lymph system itself is several times larger than the blood. It doesn't get into the gut, where most of any issue is. Like if you have a problem, 90% of it's in the gut or maybe the mouth. It's not in there. So limitations on the Bob Beck deal. Now, to me, the best one going right now is the ParaZapper MY Zapper, many zappers in one. I actually have different wires attached to it. These are didn't come with it. They're a little bit different, but there's no ohms resistance loss with these type of coiled wires at all. They're just a little easier to use. There's no ohms resistance lost at all. This thing, I put it on a leader, frequency counter leader, made in USA leader, LDC 822 frequency counter that was calibrated. This thing is dead on accurate. It's the only zapper I know that's dead on accurate. I don't think there's any of them out there, period. It even has the 3.915 hertz and 4 hertz setting like the Bob Beck deal. Different voltage, positive offset, but it's still, I think it's actually a lot better. As far as zappers go, this is the deal, period. That's it. I'm going to be very strong on that opinion. I don't know if it's going to work on every kind of issue, but if you want to have a survival zapper, it's one of your best deals. That's about the best zapper to get. As far as the generators go, I have a lot of frequency generators in the pad type Rife, quote unquote, machines. I have a lot of videos on Spooky 2. I checked those generators. They're dead on accurate. They're very inexpensive. I can't believe they're that inexpensive and that accurate, but they are. I checked them with the same made in USA leader frequency counter that was calibrated and is highly accurate. They're accurate. As far as most other stuff out there, they're not accurate. They're not accurate at all. But anyway, the other thing is, what you really want to have on hand, though, for a lot of issues is vitamin C. Now, I put a video out on how to make liposomal vitamin C. I'm going to be making more of that. I am taking a good 10 grams of at least 10 grams of liposomal every day, plus probably about 10 grams of oral vitamin C. But if you ever had an issue, you could take a lot more vitamin C if you have a severe sickness than you think. Now, this is per, not me, this is per what I read from Dr. Cathcart, Dr. Kleiner, Dr. Levy. Now, those three doctors will, now I'm not sure if those are all medical doctors. I think Dr. Levy and Dr. Cathcart, yeah, I think they are. I think they are. The only one that isn't a medical doctor I was going to reference was Dr. Linus Pauling, but he's a PhD, two-time Nobel Peace Prize winner. He was the one that really got the vitamin C craze going in the 70s. But he actually advocates, he'll advocate megadosing vitamin C, but his megadoses are way less than other people that preceded him that were trying to treat like polio and cancers and bad conditions with, you know, hemorrhagic fever or something like that. As a matter of fact, if you took your recommended daily allowance of vitamin C is 60 milligrams. Like a lot of times, if you get a vitamin C capsule from in a store, it might be 250 milligrams, 500 or 1,000 milligrams. That ain't gonna cut it if you have an issue, like according to like people like Dr. Cathcart or something. And you can look up these references, Cathcart, Kleiner. I have some of their books and stuff too, and Dr. Levy. But, you know, they'll tell you need intravenous, but say you're not going to be able to do intravenous on your own. But if you have a severe viral issue, you could take a lot more oral vitamin C before you become bowel intolerant. And now I'm saying this per these doctors, not per me, okay? But that's the information I read. I'm just boiling it down real quick. You could take a lot more vitamin C orally, just without even liposomal even, orally, before you become like bowel intolerant, which means you get, you know, diarrhea or something, right? You could take a lot more of it. As a matter of fact, you could be taking like 50 grams or 50,000 milligrams to 100,000 milligrams in divided up doses per 24-hour period, and that vitamin C is being used up to combat the viral issue so fast that you are not becoming bowel intolerant. Amazing. Now, if you combine that with liposomal, and I have a video on how to make that, I'm making some more of it today again. I take a lot of it every day. I probably will never, you know, I don't know, I might be immune to Ebola for all I know. But I don't know, man, it'd be pretty wild if I was. But, you know, if it ever happened, you know, if that ever came into be where I needed to have that, you know, immunity. But the thing is, you know, the liposomal, if you combine that with the regular oral vitamin C, it is pretty strong. Now, I don't know about liposomal being stronger than intravenous, but it is, from what I've read in Dr. Cathcart's book, he used it in situations where he ran out of intravenous and he had some packets of liposomal, and he found out it seemed to work even a little bit better. So when I'm reading it from him, I'm like saying, wow, maybe it is true, you know. But you got to take a lot of it if you got a real problem. And I don't want to say to do that because then I'm giving medical advice, but that's what I'll do, okay? It's actually per the books that I'm reading that are megadosing vitamin C advocates. They're advocating way more than Dr. Linus Pauling. Now, Dr. Linus Pauling used to take 3 grams or 30,000 milligrams, same, you know, 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram. He used to take 3 grams or 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day orally. And he died of prostate cancer at age 93. Now, the ones that really understand this megadosing vitamin C, they'll tell you like 1 or 2 or 3 grams is not going to really cut it for a problem, a real problem. You got to be taking like, sometimes it's up to, temporarily, they'll even advocate up to 200 grams for somebody like ready to die or something, just to, you know. And I'm not telling you to do this, but I know I'll be doing this if that situation ever came up to me. I'd take a lot of it. And don't think that oral vitamin C can't help, because if you have a severe viral issue and say Ebola's taken over or something, you might want to pop a lot of that stuff. Now, I put out a video about the disinformation about colloidal silver in Ebola. Now, colloidal silver, it is a fact. If you've even got 5 parts per million colloidal silver in a dish, there's absolutely no microbe, pathogen, or whatever that will survive against that colloidal silver in that 5 parts per million solution for more than a few minutes. None. They checked everything there is known to mankind, and this was done. I got the books. Actually, this damn thing got wet in my car, man. It was like, I was like, I can't pull the page. I gotta dry it out, man. My colloidal silver reference book, which referenced the Harvard professors that checked this. I mean, you're talking about, I think it was Harvard professors, and I know that's a law school, but they were the top-notch old Ivy League schools that were checking this theory out, that outside the body, in 5 parts per million, colloidal silver kills everything, flat out. The problem is, you're talking, if you take, even a few tablespoons of that stuff, you're mixing that in with at least 10 quarts, you're mixing it in with 10 quarts of blood, and many more quarts of lymph fluid, and everything else that's in the body, and it gets super diluted. Now, the other thing is the particle size. Now, I'm going to be making colloidal silver now, again, that has very, very small particle size. I'm using 26.5 to 27 volts to make it versus 30 to 36. It actually takes about 24 hours to make it, but it comes out much, much, much better, and it stays clear. It doesn't even several days later or a week later, it's still clear, and it still has 7 parts per million. So that can get around the body a lot better. But the thing is, you're not going to get a high enough concentration in the body to like knock out a virus that's all over the body. It may travel all over the body, but you got a tiny, tiny bit. It's like if you take that 7 parts per million or 10 parts per million or even 20 parts per million, and you take a few tablespoons and you super dilute it under a couple dozen quarts of liquid in the body between lymph fluid and blood, well, it gets diluted to like way below a fraction of 1 part per million. That's why it's not that effective. And then, it's got to reach every area of the body too. That's the other issue. So it's like, that is a disinformation garbage that they're putting out, that if you tried that, I mean, it's not going to be, I'm not saying not to do it. It can help. But if you're going to rely on that, forget about it. Actually, what you should do, and what I'm going to do, is several methods. Several methods. In other words, if you come down with some kind of flu, bird flu, or some garbage, or whatever it is, H1N1, and you want to take the vitamin C, you want to use a high-quality ParaZapper MY accurate zapper like this with positive offset, and you want to also take the colloidal silver, and also maybe herbs like to suppress the parasites or knock down the parasites. I always take the Hulda Clark herbs that she recommended: wormwood, cloves, and black walnut hulls. I take that combination every day. Every day. So that knocks out Buski. I forget if I'm saying that right, but if you look up B-U-S-K-I, Buski, you'll probably find it. But there's a larger parasite that basically other viral issues, even cancer viruses, will hide inside of. And if you take vitamin C or colloidal silver, it's not going to reach those viruses that are inside the larger parasite. That's why Hulda Clark was adamant about getting rid of parasites, because they become another storage bin for other smaller microbes that other treatments you're trying to do can't get at. So that's another issue. But anyway, you really should be looking at it as a combination approach. And I want to also tell you something too, that your microwave, don't throw it away. There's a reason for that. I know a lot of people realize I threw away my microwave because microwave food is no good and all this type of stuff. But there is something that's very useful for a microwave. Now, you don't want to microwave water and put it inside a plant or something, because I even read that there were stories where microwave water caused diminished plant growth greatly too. You can actually make, there's like a, like all waters aren't equal. There's something like microwaves do some bad things. But this is where a microwave can come in very handy for first aid. And this is per doctors, and they all know this. You just say, for instance, you don't have any sterilized bandages, but you got plenty of cloth everywhere, right? Or whatever. You take some of the cloth, you put it in water, you put it in a dish, you put it in the microwave, and you put it on high for 8 minutes, and it'll kill everything. That cloth is now sterile. So that's how you can make something that you have a doubt on or a bandage to make it sterile when you got nothing available. I mean, that's per doctors. It's kind of a simple common sense thing, but a lot of people just don't realize it. And a lot of people that are into health threw away their microwaves because they don't want to microwave food, but a microwave could be good to sterilize something. So as long as you put the cloth in something in the water, in like a little microwavable bowl or something, it'll sterilize it, and then you got a great sterile bandage for something. So there's a lot of cool things you could do. Now, I also want to state something. There's 3 methods I think colloidal silver can be extremely useful. One is, I said, you know, to put it in your mouth and let it sit in there for several minutes, and I spit it out or something, right? Because a lot of microbes, and most microbes are in the gut, but the second place they're in is in the human mouth. And they could be also deep down where the colloidal silver can't get to. But you can use colloidal silver like as a strong mouthwash, and it'll actually absorb into the bloodstream underneath the tongue a little bit. It's a small amount, not much, but the thing is, it does not sting like a mouthwash. It's not poisonous, or like an alcohol or something like that. If you swallowed some colloidal silver, it's not going to hurt you. And if you left it in the mouth for 3-4 minutes or so, that sterilizes everything. And that is one of the breeding grounds for germs that actually get into the bloodstream through open, the gums and things like that, which even go directly to the heart. So that's one thing you can do. One method a lot of people don't think of. A number 2 method is, I saw where somebody was put to home hospice for an incurable pneumonia, and I put a video out on this because when I discovered this and I researched further, if they have these warm air misters that are designed to have a medicine chamber in them, what you do is you put the medicine where the medicine chamber is. Now, it's not something that boils the water. It's designed to put the medicine in the vapor, or it's not like a boiled vapor. So it doesn't, I know people say that it was distilled. I'm not saying that. It's something designed for that. It makes warm water and it mists it. But you put medicine in a separate container, and that medicine goes throughout the mist, and then you breathe it. Well, you could put the colloidal silver in the medicine part of that warm air mister, and then the colloidal silver is in the mist that's in the air that you breathe, and that actually flat out worked on a person that he was going to die from pneumonia that was incurable, because colloidal silver does work against any microbe if it can contact a microbe. Now, if he was drinking colloidal silver and he's trying to get it through the bloodstream to get to the lungs, it wouldn't have worked. But it directly got on the lungs where the infection was through this warm air mister that's designed to have medicine in it. He put the colloidal silver in the medicine chamber, and what happened then, it worked great because it was in a high enough concentration in the mist in the air, and it contacted the lungs directly where the microbes were, and it wiped them out. Now, another thing is, now I did this with bladder infections because I was thinking about through the box. I was taken one time a couple years ago for this bladder infection. I don't know how the hell I got it, man, but it was like Cipro or something like that, an antibiotic, and it was kind of working, but it wasn't working good enough. And it was like blood and all this type of stuff coming out, and I had to have this hose up there that cleared it, and so you can pee and all that. What I did was I took the colloidal silver, and I used a syringe, and I injected through the hose through the urethra that went right into the bladder directly, and I was flushing the bladder out with colloidal silver solution. And lo and behold, that cleared up the infection right away in the bladder immediately. I did that. Nobody told me to do that, but it worked. The Cipro was working, but it seemed like it wasn't working again. It was working initially, and then it wasn't working. So instead of using saltwater flushes or saline solution flushes, I used colloidal silver flushes, and it worked like perfect. So if the stuff can actually touch, colloidal silver would be a great thing if you have it on, you sterilize the bandage, and then you put colloidal silver on the bandage, and you wrap up, where the wound is. That would be a good thing. But the thing is, if you take a little bit of silver, colloidal silver in with the body, it gets so super diluted. It does a little bit, but I know they got patents out there for cures on AIDS with tetra silver or something like that. I don't know, for some years ago. I already researched this stuff. It's not legit. It's legit as far as in a petri dish, but on a person, where it's actually applied to the person, it's not even an effective treatment. It's not like it doesn't do anything, but it's not a strong enough treatment. And I know there's videos out there. I don't even want to say who it is, but just people out there saying, tell everybody about this tetra silver, nano silver patent, and it's going to cure everything, and it's this big secret by the government. Oh, bullshit. It's not that strong. It's like when you put colloidal silver in the body, it gets super diluted. If you can get it directly on where the problem area is, it'll wipe it out. It'll wipe out whatever microbe it is. No microbe can withstand even 5 parts per million of colloidal silver for more than a few minutes or so. That's it. Usually it's a matter of seconds, they're dead. But the thing is, try to get that, and you can't take that much of this stuff, because if you start taking, a little silver in the body is actually an essential element. But you could take too much of it where it's toxic too. But I mean, like I mentioned, 3 ways that you can actually get it directly to the body. Like the bladder is one. I did that. It was like the lungs was another. And on the oral, where there's a lot of microbes. But, it looks to me now that vitamin C is the cheapest thing going, the simplest thing going. It does not have to be anything special. The people that were doctors that were using vitamin C were using plain old ascorbic acid, synthetically produced. There wasn't some, I know these natural places will say, that isn't really vitamin C, it's got to be this. And the real doctors that were using the mega dosing of vitamin C against like some dengue fever, hemorrhagic fever, they were using plain old ascorbic acid. That's what they were using. So, and the Bob Beck electrifier is a growth stimulator, so you got to watch that deal, because if you got dengue fever, it might actually make that grow faster. I'm not sure about how strong this could be, but if there's any zapper out there that's going to work, this product hasn't been out that long. This is the ParaZapper MY Zapper. It hasn't been out that long, but this technology has gotten, well, it's the only one that got accurate like a full-size frequency generator. This actually has a like a frequency generator oscillator in it, crystal controlled. It's not like a 555 timer like the other ones use, these little cheap 555 timers. This actually has like a full-size frequency generator in this little puppy, man, made in USA. So if something's going to work or be helpful, this is the most likely thing to work. If this don't work, nothing works. Let me put it that way. If this doesn't work, I don't know any other zapper that would work. Now, I'm not saying that would be any electronic device, but as far as Zapper, that's the best Zapper going, period. So, just want to put this out because I want to dispel some of these exaggerations on the, internet. And like, if you know, I'm not really telling you this is like a guaranteed foolproof method because I know it isn't. Could it help? It may help. And actually, these are things you should have on the side for not necessarily your main medical treatment, but your last ditch, I got no options medical treatment. In other words, if this, the medical system becomes overloaded, there's this epidemic and nobody can help you. I mean, these are the best things I can think of, and these are the things I'm going to have on hand. I don't know if they'd work, but that's what I'm doing. And I did research this very carefully, and I says I am only going to look at what the real medical guys say versus the drama people on the videos say about oh yeah, it's a big secret they've been kept secret all this while and they don't want you to know about this. Well, the only thing I think is actually a big secret probably is the vitamin C. I mean, Dr. Kleiner, he used massive doses of it against 60 out of 60 polio patients against polio, and he cured them back in 1947-48. I mean, it's not like it's a secret. It's published, but it's not well known. That's for sure. Anyway, enough on this. I just went too long on this, but I try to cover a lot of stuff because I do have a lot of videos out on these type of topics. Ozone is another thing, another great thing. I have a Synergy system, WPS 100 single stage ozone generator. I probably will get an oxygen concentrator for it later, but I just can't make this video too long. So just beware of the exaggerations in the alternative medical field. A reason there's an alternative medical field because there's no profitability in nature, for one, or even if it's not nature and it's an inexpensive device using microcurrents like this, there's no profitability in that either. But just because there's no profitability in it doesn't guarantee that it's going to work. I think as far as Zappers goes, this is the best one going. I've been using this at least several hours a day, plus the other one, the CC2 from ParaZapper. I've been using, between the two of them, probably about 10 hours a day. So I should be pretty damn healthy. Anyway, over and out.